For this week's application, the task was to create a demographic profile and to create a podcast reporting the findings. I applied a 12-question survey to one of my college-level classrooms and two of my high school classrooms. In total, I polled 76 students, 30 college students, and 46 high school students. The questions asked are meant to measure how big a role technology plays in their lives and to gauge their interest in acquiring new technologies in the classroom. Students were asked to evaluate the tech resources available at school and how they rate the school's internet capabilities. Finally, they were asked how much they are interested in learning new technologies, such as those offered by the Web 2.0, for academic purposes. The first question focused on what technological devices the students own. 63% of the college students polled own a desktop computer. For high school students, 83% own a desktop PC. In contrast, only 37% of college students own a video game system, such as the Xbox, PlayStation, or Wii, while 61% of high school students own a video game system themselves. Not surprising, 100% of both college students and high school students own a cell phone, and around 90% of both groups own an iPod or MP3 player. Around 80% of both high schoolers and college students own laptop computers and digital cameras, and approximately 90% of both groups have broadband wireless internet at home. Perhaps due to the fact that high-definition cable is not available in our town, only 45% of students own HD TVs. The next group of questions focused on students' usage of the devices mentioned in the first question. Around 40% of students from both groups watch TV for less than an hour a day. 37% of college students watch TV from 1 to 2 hours a day. For high school students, the number is 24%. However, 39% of high school students watch TV for more than 2 hours a day. College students, only 20%. When it comes to surfing the web, 63% of college students spend less than an hour doing it, whereas only 9% of high school students do it for less than an hour. A whopping 65% of high schoolers spend more than 2 hours surfing the internet every day, and only 10% of college students spend that amount of time online. The next series of questions dealt with what Web 2.0 applications the students are familiar with and how they use them. For example, 100% of students from both groups use Windows Live Messenger to chat with friends and for academic purposes. 67% of college students and 39% of high school students use Facebook. 41% of high schoolers use MySpace. The number for that same question for college students is 17%. Surprisingly, a high 35% of high school students use blogs for social networking, whereas only 10% of college students do so. Thanks to this program and to the tools I have acquired, 100% of students polled use blogs for school assignments and for other academic reasons. Students were asked to evaluate the tech resources available at school. Half of the students polled think the offering is poor, while the other half considers it to be adequate. Internet access was rated by 85% of students as being poor. The remaining 15% are satisfied with it. The final question asked was whether or not the students are interested in acquiring new technologies for school. Encouragingly, 97% of high school students and 85% of college students are very interested, which tells me that they are looking ahead as to how they may utilize these tools in the future. There is no doubt in my mind that all of the students polled are digital natives. What was satisfying to me on a personal level was their interest in acquiring the Web 2.0 tools available today for their schoolwork. Students seem to have a good grasp on how useful these tools are, and more importantly, how useful they will be. When asked about his feelings on introducing blogs into the course, one high school student said that it was a new experience and he was excited to continue working on it. Providing a place online for him to retrieve assignments and participate in collaborative discussions with his classmates has been fun and interesting so far, which is a good sign. When I mentioned the probability of creating a class wiki to another student, the response was also positive. He said that he had always wanted to participate in other wikis he visits, but that it seemed too difficult and he was afraid that his contributions would be unappreciated. Hopefully, creating a class wiki from scratch will alleviate these fears and will embolden him to collaborate more frequently. When talking to a female student that just moved to Mexico from the United States, she said that tools like Facebook and Skype have enabled her to keep in touch with her hometown friends and has made the transition easier for her. According to her comments, without those tools she would feel, quote, lost and depressed. For educators, the Web 2.0 has given us fantastic new ways to work in the classroom and to reach our students. For students, it has become the foundation of a bright future in the 21st century workplace. And for others, it brings them closer to home with just a single click of the mouse.